What is up, everybody? It is I, Ronin, and today I'm coming at you with a learning how to play in the form of Processlayer. So Processlayer, if you don't know, is a new archetype revealed fairly recently, and it's all these level 4 Cybers boys. They make the big Synchro Processlayer Final Sigma, and that's kind of the game plan, and that's all you need to know about the gameplay of this deck. Summon Final Sigma or summon, I don't know, I guess you can summon Laplacian as well if you feel scared of destruction effects, but it's mostly about that final Sigma. But yeah, that's basically what the main deck does. It summons Final Sigma, but real fast, let's get into the ways that it does summon Final Sigma. So first we'll go over Final Sigma itself because arguably it's the more important part of the deck. So it's a level 12 Synchro monster, fire attribute, 3000 attack, 0 defense. Uh, I think I said it was level 12. If not, then it's level 12, generic materials. And when it's in the extra monster zone, is unaffected by card effects except for Process Slayer cards. So that means all of your own cards, or if your opponent is playing the Process Slayers, all of those cards as well. Uh, if it when in the extra monster zone, it battles an opponent's monster. It doubles any battle damage. If destroyed by battle or by a opponent's card effect, blah blah blah. You can add a Ross's Slayer card from your deck to your hand as a hard once per turn. So floats into a search of your whole archetype. Is a towers in the extra monster zone. Does extra damage so long as it is in the extra monster zone. All pretty great stuff to set up for a OTK or just generic beatdown. Unless your opponent has a kaiju or it's a mirror match, they will generally have a rough time dealing with this. But now let's talk about all the ways to go into it. So first up we have, as far as generic cyber support goes, we have Balancer Lord, a level 4 that, well, you pay 1,000 life points. It gives you a additional normal summon for the turn. And if it's banished, you can special summon a level 4 lower monster from your hand. So yeah, it's very good. Gives us more normal summons if we need them to get that extra little push. Uh, we can banish it with certain effects to get searches and summons. Very solid stuff. And then the only other piece of generic cyber support we have is Signet Mining. So it says all you have to do is send a card from your hand to the graveyard to add a level 4 lower Cyberse monster from your deck to your hand as a hard once returned. So, yeah, it just searches our whole archetype plus Balancer Lord. Not much more to say about that. Some graveyard setup is actually appreciated with this deck, which we'll go into later. So that is also helpful if you drew something you would rather have put into the graveyard. So yeah, run it at free. It's good. Now let's go over the actual Process Slayer monsters. So we have four of we're running 3 of each of the monsters. So let's go over those real fast. Division lets you tribute a Cybers monster in the extra monster zone to special summon a level 4 Cybers from each your hand and graveyard. And if it's sent to the graveyard, you can target a face-up monster on the field, have its attack till the end of this turn as a hard once per turn. So you're going to notice right away that a lot of the Process Layer monsters have different effects when they are sent to the graveyard or some attack changing effect, because this primarily is a beatdown OTK deck. So divisions for the start. Now we have the best, well, arguably the best Process Slayer Sigma. It can special summon itself from the hand or the graveyard so long as you don't have anything in your extra monster zone, and it is banished when it leaves the field if summoned by this way. It can also be treated as a non-tuner in the synchro summon of a Rasa Slayer monster. It is a level 4 tuner, as you can see. Pretty good stuff. Pretty good stuff. It's definitely a play starter if you have it. Uh, Honestly, more summons is always appreciated. Just run it free. It's very good, and you can use it to do some cool baits. Now we have Processlayer Nabla, also a tuner. It lets you tribute a Cyber monster to special summon a Processlayer monster from your deck, and if it's sent to the graveyard, you target a Cybers in the extra monster zone. It can make 2 attacks on monsters during the battle phase of this turn as a hard once per turn. So, the general play here is, we'll go over that in a second. We'll go over actually multiplier next, so, because that's sort of the general play. Like, the best ones are Sigma, Nabla, multiplier. And we'll go over multiplier before we go over sort of the rest of the combo pieces. So, Nabla, just a regular Cyberse monster, not a tuner, level 4. Lets you target a level 4 Cyberse you control. Its level will become 8 until the end of the turn, and if it's sent to the graveyard, you target a Cyberse monster you control in the extra monster zone, double its attack till the end of this turn. So, ideally what happens is, special summon Sigma, summon Nabla, or special summon any of the Processlayers, really. Tribute that monster's summon Multiplier. Multiplier will double Nabla's attack, then you'll be able to, or double its level, then you'll be able to go into Final Sigma, because that is level 12, and it will be a 6,000 body that can attack monsters twice this turn, as well as be a Towers effect. So, that's generally the play. The others are just kind of nice. I would say that if you had to cut one, you could cut Division, probably. But generally speaking, that's sort of the general easy to do play. Not very complicated, but say you don't have your Sigma. Well, there's a couple more boys here who are happy to special summon themselves for you. We have Adion and Subtra. Adion special summons itself from the hand by targeting a monster on the field, giving it 1,000 attack points till the end of the turn, and then it cannot attack for the rest of the turn. So, Subtra does the same thing, except it takes away 1,000 attack points till the end of the turn. So, again, two more very easy to do special summons if you don't have your Sigma. Again, you can cut Division if you want. It's kind of nice to have, though, if you're feeling like it. But yeah, that would be what I would cut if I would cut anything from this. But yeah, so like I said, the general play is Nabla plus any special summon equals, well, as long as you don't get interrupted, but we have ways to deal with that, will equal a final Sigma. Or possibly a Laplacian if you feel like it, but you don't need it. We'll go over those later as well, though. Yeah. So beyond that, though, we have a few of the Processlayer spell traps in our main deck. We have Processlayer Formula. It is a monster reborn for the archetype, and it gives the monster summoned by it 1,000 extra attack. So this is very cool for bait. So what you can do is activate this, target a Sigma in your graveyard, and if it gets negated, then you can just special summon Sigma anyway. So it's a very cool way to bait it out. Then we have Processlayer Divider Nayuta. So it is an equipped spell. It can only equip to a Cyberse monster. And during damage calc, if the equipped monster battles a opponent's monster, so if you attack it or it attacks you, you can send a Processlayer monster from your deck to the graveyard. The equipped monster will gain the sent monster's attack until the end of this turn, and if it's sent from the spell, and if it's sent to the graveyard while in the spell and trap zone, you target a Processlayer card in your graveyard except Divider and add it to your hand. So that lets you recover your Final Sigma, your Magma if you summon it, though generally you probably won't. Even your Laplacian if you want to. So, really good stuff. It's good to sort of secure an OTK. So really nice, really nice. And now as far as our final cards, we have main deck Gamacils because this deck doesn't play through negates. Or it does, it just doesn't do it well. I should say that. So if you kind of want to full combo, it really is best if you can deal with X monsters, and the fact that you sort of control the attack points on it is fairly nice. And then we also have Called by the Grave because, like I said, hand traps hurt, so we run that at free just to make sure our plays will in general go through. Our last card is Upstart Goblin. Uh, it is definitely a questionable choice. This is an OTK deck, and you wouldn't want to give your opponent more life points. But Final Sigma just does so much damage that it usually does not make a difference. So I do like having it. I would replace it with something else if I could think of something else that would be good, though. So as far as the extra deck goes, Final Sigma is the only thing we really care about, but I will go over the other stuff just in case. We are running Link Disciple. It requires a level 4 or lower Cyberse monster. We don't really use this effect. It's just tribute fodder for a division if we need it. Code Talker plus Transcode Talker. Very fun code talker combos. Transcode requires 2 or more effect as a link-free monster, and while it's co-linked, it and the monster is co-linked too, gain 500 attack, and your opponent cannot target any of them with card effects. When it is summoned, you can target a link-free or lower Cyberse link in your graveyard, except itself, to special summon it to the zone this card points to. And you cannot special summon monsters the turn you activate this effect, except Cyberse monsters, not a problem for us. And then Code Talker requires 2 effect monsters, and it gains 500 attack for each monster it points to, and cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects while it points to a monster. So, pretty classic Code Talker soft locked going on there. They protect each other, they power each other up. Pretty nice stuff. We had them just in case. Now we'll go over Laplacian, which is I would say, okay, so it's not better than Magma, but it's more likely to come up than Magma. It's the best way to describe it. So it's a rank 4, requires free level 4s, and if it's Xyz summoned, you can attach up to 3 materials from it to activate any number of these effects. So you send a random card from your opponent's hand to the graveyard, send a monster from the opponent controls to the graveyard, or send a spell trap from your opponent controls to the graveyard. And it is a hard once per turn, and if a Processlayer cards you control would be destroyed by card effects, you can attach a material from its set. So it is nice protection. Uh, Generally speaking, I would only go into it though if you're really scared of effect destruction or some back row, because otherwise it's just not super worth it. Now we have Magma, the level 8 synchro. Again, it's generic. Fire. It's a fire Cybers. It is also a Processlayer, sorry, and has 2500 attack. And when it destroys a monster by battle, you can target up to 2 cards your opponent controls to destroy them. And if this card is destroyed by battle, or if this card in someone's possession is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, you can add a Processlayer spell trap from your deck to your hand as a hard once per turn. So, it's definitely situationally more useful, but generally speaking, Final Sigma is just better in every case. It is good if you. It's kind of like the backup play, right? Because if you can't go full combo, which is fairly easy to do, this is also a fairly good boss monster-ish type thing to go into if you need it, and it lets you search your formula and your divider, assuming you have full combo in hand afterwards for recovery. Uh, it's good, but it's the backup plan more than anything. So I wouldn't suggest going into it too heavily. Now the side deck, it's a little interesting. So first the one has one Raigeki, one Dark Hole, one Monster Reborn. The Dark Hole is because I mean, you have a towers. It's pretty sweet if you don't die to your own Dark Hole. Raigeki, this is a beatdown deck. Generally speaking, you want your opponent to have monsters, but this is better to have in case there's some sort of negate bait that you want. Monster Reborn, it's just another way to sort of get back into your combos and recover, so it is kind of nice. MSTs, in case we need just that little bit more spell trap removal, because there are some very spell trap reliant decks around right now. Oh, sorry about that. Might have had a little nose blow there. Infinite Impermanence, it's awesome for going second decks in general. Negate monster effects if you want to. It serves as an interruption as well on a hand trap, which is pretty nice. Then we have Processlayer Induction, the continuous trap for the archetype. It gives all Cybers monsters you control 500, and if you control Processlayer monster, you can send this face-up card from the field to the graveyard, then target a card your opponent controls to destroy it as a hard once return. Uh, Generally speaking, we want to OTK, but sometimes the opponent has monsters that can beat over a 3000 attack body. Sometimes they don't, though, so it's kind of nice to have this if our opponent is using something that can get more than 3000 attack. So, good in the side. It's okay removal. I mean, it destroys any card your opponent controls, so that's pretty nice. Oh, it's not awful. Nothing I would max on though. And then Red Reboot in case there is like a trap heavy deck, say our Mystic Mine matchup. It is nice to be able to block those chain burny type things. And if you negate a trap and then pop their mine, ooh, buddy, you're gonna be hurting them a good bit. So yeah. But that's the deck. The general game plan is just summon Sigma, sit on it, and attack. But yeah, if you're new here, we go over a few replays. We have like 5 replays this time. I might only go over a few of them. But I'm definitely doing free. Definitely free. But yeah. Just analyze them, things I could have done better, worse, any misplays I made, any bad matchups, any great matchups. But yeah. That all being said, I'll see you guys in the first game. Okay, one of the first duel, we're gonna... Okay, so this one is a loss, but it's because I misplayed, not because of the deck's weakness at all. And I decided to start off strong, going against a Salomon Great player as we are Lyoko, as Code Lyoko. If you don't know that series, watch it. It was pretty fun. And I did just take a look over his build. It's kinda weird. He's running 2 Gazelle and 2 Spinny. I think those are both Frios, but I mean, someone tell me if I'm wrong. I'm not a Salomon Great player, so maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, so he's going first. He's gonna start out. He's gonna start out okay. You know, he's going for some standard Salomon Great stuff. The Salomon Great Heart to bring back his 2 boys. Make a Baguska. He's gonna be able to go ahead and get the will back. Set Rage. I mean, it's not awful, I guess. It just doesn't do much against what our deck does. But we're going to show you that in a second here. So we draw. We got the Cyanet Mining. We go ahead special summon Sigma because we can. I should have... we also have the effect... We are going to go ahead and use the Addion effect here. I probably should have held off on that. Saved it for the final Sigma. But I decided not to, like an idiot. But we did get to the final Sigma that can attack twice, dealing double battle damage to the Sunlight Wolf. It's not flipped to defense position by Baguska because it is towers in the extra monster zone. And we actually have some fairly good recovery here. We have the formula, we have multiplier, we have Nabla in the grave. So we're in a very good spot here. Our opponent is just going to activate Heart. Pass, I don't know what the purpose of that exactly was. I think it was just to make Rage live. I'm pretty sure it was just to make Rage live. So we're going to go ahead and use Addion's effect to go ahead and attack. He's going to Rage, pop the Addion. All we are able to do in this situation is beat out the Baguska. Unfortunate, he still has the heart on the field, the will on the field though, so he's going to be able to recover hard. So he gets his Sunlight Wolf back, reincarnations into it, summons Jack Jaguar gets him back the Foul, failing searches him another Sanctuary, that is going into the Violet Chimera. He will be able to be over final Sigma, but we search regular Sigma instead. In phase, he sets Rage Roar. Now this is kind of the formidable Salomon Great board, a little bit. But we are not in an awful position ourselves, so we have the upstart, which we go ahead and use, get the division, drop the Sigma to search a Addion. We were able to drop the Sigma because we don't have anything in our extra monster zone, so we will be able to special summon it from the graveyard as well. So we go ahead and use the formula, trying to bait things out. We bring out Sigma, put down the Addion, normal summon the multiplier. We did make an oopsie there. I forgot normal summoning to this zone also does that. But yeah, so he's gonna go ahead and negate our multiplier, so we are at 3,000. We go ahead and just try to attack into the wolf for max damage. He's gonna summon Foxy, that'll get him the foul. Foxy will be getting him the gazelle here. Heart or will go ahead and get that. So he's going into the Pyro Phoenix here, and this is where I lose on the misplay. You'll see in a second, but for now, guess on how I lose because it is so dumb. But yeah, he's gonna go ahead and get a little bit of recovery from Sunlight Wolf, summon Gazelle. Gazelle will be sending the will. The Pyro Phoenix other effect will go to special summon a thing, I think. No. So the roar is set. He's gonna be putting that stuff back. Flame Administrator comes down, so he is now able to beat over our Final Sigma. Final Sigma does search us the formula, though, and we're at 50 life points. Now, this is the turn I lose. I want you to guess. I want you guys to guess how I lose. Do I just not play through Rage War properly? Do I accidentally just not have enough damage? But yeah, I lose here. So go ahead, activate the formula, try to bait out the roar. That worked out. So now we can summon Sigma anyways. We summon Division, and I didn't read Pyro Phoenix's second effect. Do you see what it says is, if a Link monsters is special summoned to your opponent's field, you can target one of those monsters to inflict damage to your opponent equal to its original attack. I did not know this. My game plan was to summon the Disciple, use Division to tribute for Nabla, Nabla tribute for Multiplier, Multiplier into Sigma, attack for game. And as you can see, this has more attack points than my life points, so I take the 500 burn, and I lose. So I honestly don't know how I could have played that better. I guess I could have just gone into Magma, target Heart. Yeah, I actually could have gone into Magma there and actually done some stuff. But, yeah, so that loss was from my misplay. I did have a route to, maybe not necessarily a win this turn, but something close. So, yeah, that was my bad. But, so that's the deck. It does, and that's not to show it, oh, it stacks up against the meta or everything. That's just to show that if a deck doesn't have an answer to the Final Sigma, it can be a absolute pain and a half to deal with. But, the deck does have some problems. So we'll be going into a game where I don't really lose because misplays. I lose because, well, just better strategy from the opponent, I guess. But, yeah, I'll see you guys there. Alright, welcome to the second game with Misplay for Days. He is playing the Assault mode deck, it appears. You know, got that targeting protection with Seravis, searching a few hand traps, so good opening on him. And we have opened, I wouldn't say super well, but we've opened decently well. But you're going to see sort of the problem with the deck in this game. So our opponent is going first. He's going to activate the tank key to search the Assault Sniper. But he's going to go ahead and Sire Reflector for the Assault Beast. Assault Beast will go ahead and search him. That Assault mode activate. He revives the Assault Beast and makes the Stardust. Sets the Assault mode activate. And he's ready to go. Pretty standard stuff for the Assault mode deck. And now he's going to Assault mode activate in the standby phase. Smart thing to do. So there we go. He has his negate. So we're going to go ahead and try to Subtra here. Here's the issue. Subtra targets. Savaris blocks targeting. So he's going to discard it. Our effect is negated. We cannot try to activate it again. So we're going to go ahead and summon Balancer Lord, as well as special summon Sigma. And then he's going to go ahead and Assault mode us. So that's a problem. So we do equip that with the sword to try to get a little graveyard set next turn. And his negate is back. So the Assault Sniper comes down, makes the Reflector searches. He's going to go ahead and make the Omega. There's a problem, so we go and send that. He negates our trap. We go and get a Sigma, though, so it's not a total loss. He's going to hit Subtra out of our hand, setting the cold. Yeah, so as you may be noticing, this deck struggles against targeting. However, I did feel a little more confident here because we used the Subtra. We also have the Addion, though. However, he straight up has the Gamma. And now this is kind of where Magma... This is kind of where, he's going to go ahead and hit the Disciple for reasons. And this is where the Magma comes in. See, this is the backup play. We probably could have gone into Final Sigma from here, I think, now that I'm actually looking at it. The Magma's the backup play. When you just don't got it. Like, you really just don't. You don't got it. But, yeah, so
Magma's fine here though, so since we can clear his board. Unfortunately, the assault mode does come back though. Now we get our boys back. He Pot of Desires, pretty good top. I don't think he ever used them, but these are good top decks off of it. So he's gonna go ahead and beat over that. He's going to negate that. I think that negate was probably wrong because he could have dealt more damage, but oh well. He's gonna get his assault mode back anyways. Kaiju here. So we're gonna go in Kaiju. He's gonna Omega. We can't do anything because we misplayed there. We had a line to play. We had a line to play. It just didn't work out because of negates. So we get our boys back. He's just gonna attack for gain. And yeah, that's kind of the problem with the deck. Like, you can definitely play through some things and definitely make something. I probably could have made Final Sigma there, but I wouldn't have had any way to do piercing. Attacking twice wouldn't have been good, so I was preferring to clear the board there. You would have just been able to crash and attack anyways, so not much point in it, I don't think. But, yeah, this deck is super weak to just multiple negates. Like, one negate, maybe you can deal with. Multiples, though, yeah, multiples is admittedly rough. But, yeah, so gonna do one more game. Just sort of a win, you know, show the deck's strengths. And, or more of their strengths when you're not misplaying terribly like me. But, yeah, I'll see you guys in that last replay. Okay. Welcome to the final replay with Dark Prince, and, I didn't actually look at his deck before, but can someone tell me what he's playing? Like, I think it's supposed to be a synchro spam thing, but it's not. I I don't see synergy anywhere in this deck. I don't get it. I don't see what he's trying to do. This might be Highlander, possibly? Like, let me see if this is Highlander. Because I am genuinely confused as to what he's playing. I think there was 2 Lost Wind. Let me check real fast. I think there was 2 Lost Wind. See, there's 1 Lost Wind. No, I guess this guy's just... Guess he's just playing Highlander. Okay, I didn't realize that, but that's kind of cool. But, yeah, we opened up fairly well here. Our opponent will be going first, though. He's going to set the breakthrough skill, set the bottomless pass. A formidable Highlander board here, even though he could have easily made the needle fiber that is in his extra deck, by the way. So I don't know what was up with that, but hey, that's his life, not mine. And we've opened fairly well. So we got Sigma, gonna use the Subtra to special summon, and we go into the Laplacia in here. So this is what I'm talking about. If you are worried about back row, then you go into Laplacian, because generally speaking, these set 2 pass type deck, they run annoying back row. So I was worried about that. So I'm going to attach 2, send a random card from hand to grave, and send a spell trap from field to grave. So he is going to break through skill me. So we now have that effect. I activate the formula to try to get a little extra damage on board. He bottomlesses it though. So we just attack. Not awful. So he's gonna go hard with the mind control, summon the mathematician to send the glow up bulb for the needle fiber to summon the Den Daiko Duke, and you would assume he would go for a level 6 here, right? You would guess that. Let's see. He has no targets. He does not have a rank 3. He does not have a level 6. So, yeah, Needle Fiber is attacking us. So because I didn't want to deal with Needle Fiber shenanigans, I went ahead and Kaiju'd it. So we're gonna go ahead, resummon Sigma, summon Division, use Subtra, Blink Disciple. Division will give us another Subtra. So we go into Final Sigma. to have our boys attack. So we attack over our own kaiju for big damage. Our opponent cannot do anything because they chose this. I don't know why they chose this. So the torrential is being set, as well as setting the red resonator. I'm avoiding attacking the mathematician for now, because at the time I didn't know what this deck was, and I thought if I gave him a draw, it would be bad news. We are holding on to the multiplier though for recovery. The Signet mining is pretty nice, so we just go ahead and attack over the mathematician. He gets a draw. Still not able to make plays here. But he is going to go ahead and summon the Synchron and the Junk Synchron to bring that red resonator. We will call that resonator. And then he just forfeited because he couldn't make plays. I don't know what he was doing, but it clearly was not proper Yu-Gi-Oh! I think he was trolling and it just didn't work out, and that makes me upset. But yeah, so final thoughts on Processlayers. If you're new to the game or hate Master Rule 4, this deck is a absolute godsend and is for you. It is very easy to pick up, very easy to understand what you're supposed to do. It has a boss monster that can somewhat deal with the meta, or at least parts of it, so you're not auto-losing most of the time, even if you're new. And if you're up against other new players and other people who might try to get you with trolly gimmicky things like Dark Prince here, you'll probably do really well because those decks do not run ways to out Final Sigma. So, this isn't a deck I would personally play further. I just don't think it's interesting enough. But if you're new to the game and you want a decent deck to try to pick things up with, I'd say this is pretty good for that. But you know, that all being said, let me know what you guys think. How horrendous were my misplays? Because looking back at them, wow, were there many? I didn't realize that initially. And any ways I could improve this deck? Should I cut division? Because I feel like I should maybe cut division. But yeah, like if you liked, comment if you have something to say, and subscribe if you want some more. This has been Ronin, signing off.